Hello and welcome to our English vocabulary series based on 504 absolutely essential words. I'm going to teach you Unit 6 of this course book. As you can see, 504 absolutely essential words on LELB Society at lelb.net. As usual, let me just show you the photo dictionary items or flashcards that might exist in this unit. Unfortunately, there isn't any. We don't have so many words here, just comprehensive, because I can do that as far as time permits, and I'm the only administrator on LELB Society. But don't worry, in later sessions we're going to have much more flashcards. Okay, so let's start the main the content of this unit. The first word is approach, which means come near or nearer. Remember, as a verb it means to come near. Another synonym for that is accost. And accost, when you accost somebody, you generally approach that person, but that your attitude is rather threatening, so it's not as normal as approach is. Okay. The lawyers were asked to approach the bench. The lawyers were asked to approach, to get closer to the bench or the seat where the judge sits, or on which the judge in the court of law, in the law court, actually sits. Her beau kissed Sylvia when he approached her. Okay, beau means boyfriend. Her boyfriend kissed Sylvia when he approached her. Or lover, beau means lover. When he approached her. Ben approached the burden of getting a job with a new spirit. Ben approached the burden means responsibility, of getting a job with a new spirits or new perspective, new attitude, and generally of positive interpretation. So Ben started actually the responsibility or mission or task of getting a new job, so he wanted to find a new job. In English we say get the ball rolling, initiate, or even set the ball rolling. Initiate. Okay, so the second word is detect, means find out, discover, means to examine. Okay, to examine. Detect, that's why we have detective, like Sherlock Holmes, a person who tries to make an investigation in a murder case and find or trace the murderer, or solve some murder issues. Sam Spade detected that the important papers had vanished. So he noticed, he realized, he identified that the important papers had faded away or disappeared, vanished. Disappear. From her voice, it was easy to detect that Ellen was frightened. It was easy to identify. Here you can say identify for detect, or realize, or notice that Ellen was frightened, or scared, or terrified. I'm sorry. Okay. So she was under a lot of pressure, or she was scared. In English we say scared to death. But frightened is not as strong as terrified. Terrified is stronger than frightened. We detected from the messy room that a large group of people had assembled there. Okay, so there is a cause and effect relationship here. The effect is the messy room. It means the room was disorderly. It was not organized. And what was the cause of that? Of course, we just noticed the cause was the fact that a lot of people had gathered there. That's why we have assembled. Okay, some people had been there in a group. A group of people had assembled or gathered or collected them, where a lot of people just were there in their room. That's why they had made a mess. We say make a mess in English. To make a mess. Okay. And the opposite of assemble is disassemble. Disassemble. Okay. Word 3. Defect. As you can see, defect and detect are very close to each other in spellings. English actually is a language in which you can find a lot of words with the same spellings and sometimes actually pronunciations, but they are different in meaning. Means fault, that which is wrong. So a mistake, fault, problem. My Chevrolet was sent back to the factory because of a steering defect. Chevrolet is a car brand made in the USA by General Motors, GM. So my Chevrolet, like BMW, like Mercedes-Benz, was sent back. It's clear to the factory, that is, for example, General Motors, because of a steering. Steering is a wheel that you take or grab with your hands to navigate the car, to drive the car. There was something wrong with the steering wheel. Okay, which is a very crucial part of the car. So if there is something wrong, in English we say if it is defective. So steering wheel was defective. Of course, the steering wheel. Okay. His theory of the formation of our world was filled with defects. So his hypothesis of the formation or creation of the world was filled with defects. So it was not precise. Theory was not precise or accurate. Okay. Filled with means you can say replete. Replete with, full of. The villain was caught because his plan had many defects. the villain. Villain means bad character, bad person, a foul person, a vicious person, a wicked person. Wicked person. Okay. Was caught, was arrested. Here means arrest, catch. Because his plan was had many defects, so he had not planned the scheme very well, therefore actually he got arrested. Employee, word for a person who works for pay. Pay here means income, salary or remuneration, and revenue. And employee, there is a counterpart here for employees, that is employed. Employer versus employee. Employer is a person who employs employees, and you should be able to distinguish the difference. Okay. Okay. The employees went on a strike for higher wages. They just demonstrated. They had a demonstration or protest. For higher wages. Remember, there are two words with the same, almost the same, very similar spelling. That is wage versus wager. Wage, the first one without R, means income, and wager with R means bet. For example, you make a bet in a lottery. Okay, so do not confuse them with each other. Do not mistake them for each other. So what was wrong? What they were complaining about, low salaries, their low salary. Okay. Sentence B. My boss had to fire many employees when meat became scarce. My boss or employer had to fire or sack or fire. Lay off, also a good synonym for fire is lay off. Or give somebody an axe. So he just dismissed, my boss or employer dismissed a lot of employees because meat was scarce or in low supply. Scarce in low, short, let's say short supply. It was not very much. It was not abundant. Opposite is to be versus, sorry, to be in a high supply. To be very much, okay. To be plentiful, okay. So my boss had to fire because meat was scarce. Maybe actually the boss had to feed them, for example, for their lunch and something, actually provide some facilities. And there was not enough of meat, and therefore we had to dismiss them. Sentence C. Joe wanted to go into business for himself and stop being an employee. Yeah, I personally admire this characteristic. So he wanted to go into business to become an entrepreneur. Let me write it down. Entrepreneur or businessman. He wanted to start his own business for himself and stop being an employee. Yeah, it takes a lot of courage and perseverance in order to become independent and autonomous. Neglect. Next word is neglect, means to give too little care or attention to. Disregard. Neglect, disregard, ignore. Okay. The noun form is negligence. And even actually the adjective is negligent. Okay. So you need to play with words and derivatives, know the derivatives or parts of a speech. For example, one word may, not always, may have actually an adjective form, adverb form, noun, verb, preposition. These are parts of a speech of a word. For example, you cannot have an adverb form for apple. So not all words have different parts of a speech, but there are many words that do have different parts of a speech, and you can learn them to expand your vocabulary. Sentence A. The senator neglected to make his annual report to Congress. So the senator neglected or ignored or disregarded or paid little or no attention to make his annual, means yearly, something that happens or should happen during a year, report to the Congress. Clear? Congress is a kind of parliament in the government of the United States. Okay. Sentence B. Bob's car got dirty when he neglected to keep it polished. So his car went dirty or became dirty when he forgot or did not actually keep it polished. When you polish something, it means you just rub the surface of that with an instrument or tool in order to make it shiny and bright. That's why actually you polish your shoes, for example, or even you polish your car. Yeah, it's important. It's more important to polish your shoes first, and then if you get time and if you happen to have a car of yours, then actually, yeah, you can polish your car too. Okay, sentence C. It is essential that you do not neglect your homework. It is necessary, essential means necessary, or let's say imperative, that you do your homework. There's a difference between homework and assignment. First of all, homework is always singular. That's why you cannot add s. As you can see, it is a mistake. So, but we have assignments. Okay. And homework is generally for school stuff. For example, students at a school do homework, but university students do not have homework. They have assignments, and also assignment is not just for academic purposes. An employee may have an assignment too. As a matter of fact, assignment has a more general scope in meaning. Whatever that is assigned to you is called your assignment, not necessarily your homework. Word 6. Deceive means make someone believe as true something that is false. Mislead. Deceive. Noun is deceit. A person who is deceiving others or who deceives others is called deceitful. Deceitful. And also, yeah, that's it. So, I was trying to say something, but I forgot. I'm sorry. But anyway, maybe I will remember in the middle of this entry, that is word 6. Atlas was deceived about the burden he had to carry. So Atlas was deceived, somebody deceived him about the burden or the load he had to carry, or responsibility perhaps he had to assume or take up or take, you know, somebody just deceived him. A person who is deceived, this was actually I was trying to remember. A person who is easily deceived is called a dupe or naive. See, okay, never try to be somebody like these people. Do not be deceived, do not be naive. Okay, sentence B. Virginia cried when she learned that her best friend had deceived her. Oh my God, this is a very bitter experience, that you think that actually you have been used. And so she cried, or even you can say for cry, you say sob or weep, when she noticed that her best friend had deceived her. So you say betray somebody. To betray somebody means to be a traitor, to act as a traitor or treacherous. Okay, yeah, you know, even I as a teacher sometimes find it very difficult to spell out words. So if you have this problem, don't think that you are alone. Okay, nobody's perfect. Okay, so sentence C. The villain deceived Chef White Cloud by pretending to be his friend. The villain, do you remember, it refers to a bad character, an ill-natured person. I'm sorry, ill-natured, evil person, evil. Deceived Chief, it's Chief, I said Chef, I made a mistake. Chef White Cloud by pretending to be his friend. Yeah. Pretend means to act in a way that you particularly have a special attribute, but this is not true. You deceive people and you do not show your real intention. Okay. And number 7 is undoubtedly. Remember, B is not pronounced. Undoubtedly means certainly, beyond doubt, admittedly, certainly. Okay, definitely. Ray's team undoubtedly had the best debaters in our country. race team definitely had the best debaters or negotiators in our country. Debate, focus on the verb, means negotiate, dispute, or argue. Okay, you can easily change them to noun. Noun forms. Sentence B. The pilgrims undoubtedly assembled to travel to Rome together. Okay. Pilgrim is a person who travels a long distance, and the destination is a holy place. Yeah. For example, here they must be Catholic people to go to Rome. That is the main city of Catholics, you know. So the pilgrims undoubtedly certainly assembled, means got together, and in order to travel to Rome, Vatican, you know, I think, let me see if I can write it down. Vatican, let me see. Yeah, Vatican, that special city in Rome, that Pope resides, you know, in that place. Okay. For Christians. Sentence C. If she didn't want to go into an argument, Valerie would have followed the majority undoubtedly. So it's a kind of conditional sentence. So if she didn't want to get into an argument, it means the reality is that she, as a matter of fact, wanted to have an argument or to get into an argument, and because of that, Valerie just followed the majority certainly. So Valerie definitely wanted to have an argument, and therefore actually she just followed the majority in order to have an argument with them. Because of the fact that we have, let me think more about that. If she didn't want to get into an argument or heated argument, she would have followed the majority undoubtedly. The reality is that, because it is unreal, she wanted to have an argument, and therefore she did not follow the majority. This is the let's say real condition, because actually conditional sentences type 2 and 3 focus on unrealistic or imaginary situations, not real situations. Sentence word 8, popular, is liked by most people. Hold on. Okay. The Beatles wrote many popular songs. The Beatles refer to a rock and roll music band in, I think, in the United Kingdom, belonging to decades ago. I think in the 1960s or 50s, as far as I know. And the Beatles and Rolling Stones were among the most famous music bands at that time. Okay. At one time, mini skirts were very popular. At one time. And okay, and sentence C, popular people often find it hard to evade their many friends. Popular people, it is very difficult for popular peoples to avoid their many friends, because they're popular, they have many friends, and it's difficult for them to avoid them. Yeah, this is one of the problems of popularity and actually dealing with celebrities. Let me write it down, celebrities. Yeah, or pop stars. Okay, word 9, thorough, being all that is needed, complete. Thorough. This is thorough, this is through, I'm sorry, through, and this is thought. Okay, so try to distinguish them from each other. Thorough means complete, through means across, and thought means thinking, or the past participle form of think. Sentence A. The police made a thorough search of the house after the crime had been reported. Okay, the police made a thorough investigation, or they probed into the house after the crime had been reported. So first of all, actually a crime is reported, a case of crime or criminal case is reported to the police, and then they just try to make an investigation, a thorough or comprehensive investigation. Sentence B. My science teacher praised Sandy for doing a thorough job of cleaning up the lab. Science teacher praised or admired, appreciate, praise, appreciate Sandy for doing a thorough or complete job of cleaning up their lab. Lab is the abbreviation form or shortened form of laboratory. In American pronunciation it is laboratory, in British pronunciation it is laboratory. And you can see science teacher, so it was a science class, and therefore usually science classes are held in a lab. Okay, sentence C. Mom decided to spend the day in giving the basement a thorough cleaning. So remember, in British English it is spelled in this way. Mom decided to spend the whole day in giving the basement or cellar. Yeah, cellar thorough cleaning, to completely just disinfect and clean it. Word 10, client, person for whom a lawyer acts, or customer. It has two meanings, customer and, for example, salesperson or shopkeeper, and then the person who employs a lawyer. Sentence A. The lawyer told her client that she could predict the outcome of his trial. The lawyer told her client that she could predict, she means the lawyer, predict or foresee the outcome or results of the trial. That is, how many percents they could win the trial in a court of law. Okay, my uncle tried to get General Motors to be a client of his company. My uncle tried or struggled or strived, even you can say strive. Of course, strive is stronger than try, to get General Motors. Do you remember Chevrolets This is a US factory that manufactures vehicles or automobiles to be a client or customer. So here means customer of his company. Okay. Sentence C. If this restaurant doesn't improve its service, all its clients will vanish, will let's say go away or disappear. So it's important to just improve the quality of your business, otherwise customers will be will turn their attention to other, let's say, services and businesses of the same ilk or type. Restaurants offer catering services generally. Comprehensive means complete, thorough, including much, covering completely. After a comprehensive exam, my doctor said I was in good condition. After a complete checkup, my doctor or physician physician is doctor, medical doctor. This is physician and this is physicist, so they are not the same. You know, physicist is a person who is specialized in physics, and physician, phys means body. It means a person who is specialized in physiology and your physics. The engineer gave our house a thorough, comprehensive checkup before my father bought it. So my father or his or her father must be a very wise and tactful person, because before just buying or purchasing something, actually he just has it checked. So he got that is my father, supposedly my father got an engineer to just check up the house before buying it. Okay. Mrs. Silver wanted us to do a comprehensive study of Edgar Allan Poe. Edgar Allan Poe. So Mrs. Silver wanted us to do a comprehensive or complete study or scrutiny, perusal of Edgar Allan Poe, who is a famous English writer. He has written some thrilling and exciting stories such as Black Cat, and generally in the genre of horror or thrill. Edgar Allan Poe. Okay. And the last word is defraud, is make money, rights, etc. away by cheating. Even you can say swindle. Sorry. Swindle. It means you cheat somebody, you deceive somebody and take away their money. There are two other words that are not exactly synonymous, that is bully or blackmail. When you bully or blackmail somebody, it means that you just force them to give their money to you. Okay, so this is difference. It has nothing to do with deceiving. You use force, you blackmail, you bully them. Okay. My aunt, American aunt, British, saved thousands of dollars by defrauding the government. So she just deceived the government and maybe actually on taxing and giving tax. and she just saved thousands of dollars instead of just giving that amount of money to the government. If we could eliminate losses from people who defraud the government, tax rates could be lowered. Again, another hypothetical situation or imaginary or unreal situation. If we could eliminate losses from people who defraud the government, it means if we could, the reality is that we cannot. So if we could, for example, eliminate and obliterate and remove or do something so that people would just give their taxes to the government, tax rates would be lowered. So people in this situation, in this hypothetical situation, people didn't need to just pay so much tax of a high price, of a high volume, or people did not need to give so much money to the government as their taxes, and it would be facilitated and more affordable. Sentence C. By defrauding his friend, Dexter ruined a family tradition of honesty. So Dexter defrauded his friend, and because of that he spoiled or destroyed, ruined his family tradition or convention or customs or habits of honesty. So he betrayed. Okay, so as you know, you can always, and also here is the tag area, and if you just click on them, you will be directed to the posts in which these tags appear. And if you have any questions, just leave your questions here. And this is my Apparat channel, including hundreds of lessons and also previous classes on LELB Society. So if you like to receive more classes on Apparat and YouTube, please just subscribe to both of these channels. And let's review some flashcards on Instagram. Tagged. This is tagged. This is oath. This is gallant, abandon, and majestic, dwindle, surplus, traitor, and deliberate. And there are over 600 let's say flashcards, over 600. So please just follow me on Instagram at LELB _society to see hundreds of flashcards that can help you. Just follow me on Instagram. Let me just show it to you. Here it is. Okay, LELB _society. And this is my YouTube channel. I just upload these classes on YouTube at a regular interval in time. And this is my actually Facebook fan page. And also, if you are interested to attend our online classes, group classes, just contact me here. Just go to lelb.net, and in the footer area you can have access to my contact information. Okay, and you can even actually Skype me. Just press here, click on this Skype icon, and you can have a talk with me on Skype. Alright, thank you very much, and take care of yourself.